we're going to do a little word association right now. We're going to skip to a little bit of a word association question here. Now, check this one out. The greatest achievement of a writer, we are talking screenwriting tips, so we're going to get to the writing here. Yeah. The greatest achievement of a writer is immortality.
Yeah, basically, if you know, it's like what the ancient Greeks said. You know, there's so many people and human life is so short, but writers have the unique ability to not just immortalize themselves, but immortalize other people. Let me give you an example. The movie Alien, the first one. The character was based on someone that the writer knew and grew up with as kids. You see what I'm saying? So he took his childhood friend and he wrote that part in there, you know, immortalizing him in that movie. You see what I'm saying? So writers have that ability not to just to become immortalized themselves, but immortalize others. You know, and if you think about it, that's an achievement that's really, in a way, greater than the money, because 200 years from now, what's it going to matter who had the nicest car? You see what I'm saying? You know, all that matters at that point is who was remembered and who wasn't.
I see. But gee, wouldn't it be nice to have a nice car?
And be remembered.
And be immortal.
Yeah.
Well, I know that's my goal.
Hey, I think George Lucas is going to win on both of those.
Now, we're going to talk about some interesting failures. Yeah. The Outsiders. Neil. The Outside, explain that.
Yeah, well, the Nail was a movie that Jodie Foster made, and you know it was daring in the sense that she was playing who was isolated and was mentally retarded because of her isolation, where she didn't learn how to really talk and speak properly. Now that was a daring move because it was clearly a project she was passionate about, and it was a story idea she was passionate about. But at the same, and it wasn't something that says, okay, spend $100,000 on this sci-fi film, some bug-eyed monsters for the kiddies, we'll make $200,000. No, this was a movie that she made from her heart, from her gut, and I don't think it really worked as a story, but it's like I admired her for trying to make that, you know. And it's like The Outsiders. Coppola, I thought it was a laughable film myself. I wasn't sure if the. Oh, are we off? Hello? Oh, no. We're still going. Okay. The Outsiders, I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be a comedy or not. I thought it was so bad. But, you know, I could tell Coppola was passionate about what he was making. But, you know, to me, that was also an interesting failure. But as I was watching the movie, I couldn't, you know, help but laughing through much of the film. And I kept saying to myself, is this supposed to be funny?
Do it for Johnny. It wasn't. Let's do it for Johnny. Okay. I think you all remember that one. Okay, inside joke. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to go to some overrated films. Now, Josh, who is directing this episode, I did not write this, okay? I did not write this, but here we go. Some overrated films. Star Trek II. Am I okay?
He hasn't shot yet.
Okay, he hasn't come out of the.
He hasn't come out with a knife at you
from
yet.
Behind the.
Yeah, you're okay.
Control room yet? Okay.
I'm watching him in case he starts moving.
Okay, Star Trek II and also Stargate. You know, you thought that these were overrated films.
Yeah, I thought they were way overrated, particularly Star Trek II. You know, the first Star Trek movie was just so incredible bad that even a lightweight, mediocre film that was mildly entertaining and mildly passable, you know, people were praising as some sort of great work of art, and it really wasn't. It was actually a very lightweight film, but at least it had a plot line you could follow. You know, it had a villain who was clearly a villain, and it had, you know, and you had Shatner, who plays Kirk, who's clearly the hero fighting the villain who wins at the end. You know, there's a clear victory there, you know, but I thought it was about on the level of, you know, Do Right. It was very melodramatic. It was very lightweight. But at least it was watchable and mildly enjoyable. But that was the thing. The first one was so bad. But by the time they did something that was just mediocre, it looked like it was a masterpiece. And people were hailing it as a masterpiece. And I'm like, no, it was a very lightweight, mediocre film. And it's like Stargate. It's like I enjoyed the movie Stargate, but as I was watching the film, you know, I was kind of, you know, saying, "Where's the beef?" You know, what is the point of this movie other than, you know, to show that Kurt Russell can play someone who's pissed off, and that we can have a lot of really nice, cool special effects? I'm like, where's the character development? What can we learn, you know, as a person or a human being from this movie. I thought it was all sizzle and no steak. I thought it was, you know, it had some nice production values, but I thought it was very much overrated. And another movie that I'm going to slam while I'm on the subject is The Black Hole. You know, I thought that was a movie that had a really strong cast, and the cast was good enough to where they could just barely carry.
It was a Disney film,
wasn't
it?
It was a Disney film, but you know, it's interesting because Rodney McDowall, he usually plays the bad guys in movies, but in science fiction films, he gets to play the good guys, but he only gets to play them when he's playing like a robot in The Black Hole, or he's playing Cornelius, this kind-hearted animal doctor in Planet of the Apes. You see what I'm saying? It's like we only get to see him playing the good guys when we can't. You know, but The Black Hole, you know, it was also another movie where it was like, okay, where's the beef? You know, what's the point of this entire movie? You know, and sadly there just wasn't one.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you make a film like Clockwork Orange and you
know where the beef is there.
Play that villain so well, you kind of almost have to dress up to play the good guy, I think. Well,
Malcolm McDowell, actually.
Oh, that was... Okay, wrong McDowell, my bad.
But Rodney, he played the bad guys in shows like Combat and a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, he's a lot of stuff.
Maybe we can edit that out, Josh.
No, that's fine.
Maybe we can edit that out and post. My bad. For all you folks out there watching. Okay, how about some good exploitation films? I have here in my notes, just for some to comment about, Escape 2000, First Blood, The Hitcher.
Okay, well, Escape 2000 was a movie that, when I was just blown away by how much I liked the movie. And the movie, in a nutshell, is in the future, this police state, the military police state's taken over Australia. They've taken over the society. And the people in power, for their amusement and pleasure, they pick out convicts at these concentration camps, and they give them a head start, and then they hunt them for the fun of it. And, you know, it's interesting because, you know, you look at some of these movies that were made on this premise, like you look at the people who made King Kong, they made the most game. You know, I saw that film. I didn't think it was really that good. I didn't think I mean, it had its moments, but I didn't think overall it was really that good of a film. But this movie worked, you know, because it was an interesting story about the use and abuse of power, about how these people who are so power hungry and they're so bored that they're hunting other people just for the fun of it, you know, as a sign of their superiority and their arrogance over others. And they're really enjoying and loving it. You know, to them, this is great sport. This is great fun. And the fact that the movie just doesn't really pull any punches on how ugly this really is and how far this is really degenerated. And the thing is one of the things about, you know, films that work, and, you know, even exploitation films, particularly exploitation films, is the movie has to flow. You know, and these films, they all flow. I mean, the movie was also released as Turkey Shoot, Escape 2000. But Olivia Hussey's, if you see it as Turkey Shoot, you see it as Escape 2000. Definitely a movie worth checking out. First Blood's also another one that I thought was a really good exploitation film, where about a man who snaps and just goes, you know, ballistic and starts shooting and blasting everyone. It was interesting because Stallone actually wasn't the first choice for that film, and his career was basically in the toilet at that moment. But he agreed to do the movie because all the main stars passed on it, and they later regretted it. And the reason they passed on it was because it's going to be a physically dangerous, hard shoot. You know, you could get injured, you could get killed shooting these scenes. But Stallone, you know, he said, okay, I'll take the risk. You know, and he got injured pretty badly making this movie. Actually, he said it was a really hellish experience. He said it was the worst experience he ever had in any movie. But it was a great film in terms of it established, okay, we got a guy who's disturbed, who's traumatized, and that trauma just snaps when he confronts the police. And even though they make him they don't really his character into a sympathetic character, but at the same time, they don't truly demonize and vilify him either. And I thought that was one of the things that I really liked about the film, where you felt kind of, even though you felt he was out of line, you still kind of felt sorry for him at the same time, you know, because he was clearly someone who had been brutalized to such a point that it didn't take much for him to snap and go off.